Alrighty. Doc here from North America. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. It is TGIM. Thank goodness it's Monday. And it's a wild and woolly start. We have a lot of products that went into weekly buys and they're rolling over and they're going back into weekly sells, which is really unique in its own right. Alright. As we take a sip of the water here. Now let's get the chat line up. There. Right there we go. I think I'll get hit with a commercial. Okay, there's a commercial. Duluth Trading Company. It's a clothes manufacturer of really good stuff from Duluth, Minnesota. All right. Nobody on the chat line, so that's fine. I'm not missing anything there. As you can see, we are looking at, let's do this. I've got some poison ivy on me today, so I want to make sure that the microphone is not, and the headset is not getting infected from it, because it's up on the side of my face. I hate that. All right, there is the Swiss. You can see it's moving back up again. You can see the bounce going on here. This market is, whoa, it just keeps on going, doesn't it? It just, in other words, it's just constantly wild and crazy, all with an upwardly direction normally. Excuse me. But of late, we're feeling the pressure. We're getting, in baseball, we would be saying that we're getting towards the later innings of the game. The game started in 2008, with quantitative easing at the end of that year with Mr. Obama, and former President Bush was going out the door, and quantitative easing became kind of the rule of the land, throughout the Obama years, and it's been the same way through the, Mr. Trump tried to remove some of it, but overall it's still there, and now, during this very odd time, I guess, I don't know if anybody has heard it, but it was clearly declared now by the state of Arizona that Mr. Trump did win the state by some crazy number, like 500,000 votes. Not the U.S. media is claiming that Biden won it by 199 votes now. It sounds like that drinking song, 99 bottles of beer on the wall, 99 bottles of beer, that one. And but it's documented now that Mr. Trump did win Arizona by a good 500,000 votes. So that happened on Friday of last week, and Google and everybody else have removed it from the web. I think that's very entertaining in its own right. That's going to come back and bite them over time. Facebook and so forth have removed as much as they can, but it's just getting wilder and wilder and wilder. So anyhow, that's where we are at the moment and time. You can see that the markets are being very odd and active. Let's just show you. You can see here on the Swiss, on J4X, you can see the daily is trying to bounce back up. You see here, doing the same thing. In this case here, which is kind of curious, the weekly has turned, but wait till you see some of the others, like the Euro and the GBP and so forth, who went into weekly buys last week and are already deeply under the weekly sell, which is really odd. And I'm seeing it everywhere. The NASDAQ 100, or the Tech 100 on Dukascopy. I'm seeing it with the S&Ps. And what's funny is that, and it is funny, is that the Dow Jones Industrial Average, which was in a weekly sell for like the last 4 weeks or 3 weeks, something like that, is now screaming through the weekly buy number. I mean, we're seeing this everywhere. We see corn that went into a weekly buy last week is now underneath the weekly sell number. I mean, it's everywhere. It is, it's some of the wildest action I've seen in a while when it comes to numbers trying to read the trend. Our math reads the trend. It tells us where the direction is going. It tells us before we can tell that it's going there. It says it ahead of time. We go, oh, that's crazy. This was going to be the wrong trade. And it isn't. It turns out most of the time, like, 8.5 times out of 10, it shows us that it is the right trade, not the wrong trade. It's like, wow, how did it know? How does it know? So that's what we're starting to see, and we're going to drift over to the euro, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Look at that right there. Whereas on Friday it climbed up onto the weekly buy right there, and here this morning you can see it right there. It is not just touching the weekly sell, it's trying to bury itself underneath it. It's like, what? What's going on there? And it tried to get into the buy here. I think it went into the daily buy there, right? That's what the fact check spreadsheet say. Yeah, so it went into the daily buy somewhere around in here. Must be there. Yeah. Let me just double check that. Yeah, there's the 27th. So it went into the daily buy there, and then it went into the daily buy there after this, long slow sell off here. Then it goes into it gives us a volatility. That's why it's 2 days in a buy on the chart there. That's what it is. And then now it tried to climb into the sell on Friday, but it did not. That's why it's on the fact check spreadsheet line 14. You can see it's 2 days in a buy, and then now we're trying to lift up with the down candle. Talk about, wow, the world is upside down and going sideways at the same time. That is it right there. So that's what we're seeing on the euro this morning, walking into the markets. It's like, hello, okay, yeah, we're going to be wild and woolly. And then when I got up early this morning, the London hours, all the stock indices in the United States were flying along up very strong, and they were backing off a little bit from the Asian hours. It was pretty hot and heavy. It was like, wow, Dow was up almost 200 points, and the NASDAQ was up like 80 some odd points, and now they're all like down big. Let me put the euro up on J4X here. Right there it is. Let's see how that looks. You can see that heading down there on the bar itself. You see the hinky has turned red, and at the same time, look at it. It's trying to give us a daily buy. I mean, everything is going wonko. See, just identical to ours. It's going wonko. And this thing throws itself down under below. And let me just show you, like the short term on the stock indices. No, that's not it. The short term on the stock indices, right there. I mean, we were looking at these things, and the S&P was up like, I don't know, 20 some odd points. I mean, the high is 472. We're trading at 430. We're 42 points off the all-time, not the all-time highs, the high of last night. 42 points. And the same thing with the NASDAQ 100 or the Tech 100. We're down 149 points now, whereas like the S&Ps are down like 16. And the high last night was 399, and we're trading here live at 169. That's 230 points lower. Wow. And here the Dow is up 3 points. And last night's high was 906. It's trading at 683 as we speak right there, 681 now. So I mean that's 217 points lower. Wow, yeah, it's just astonishing, the way things are flying around. I know that Congress changed a vote that was going to happen today on something, but I think it was just the spending one. I don't think it was the debt ceiling, but I guess they were hoping at the same time that the debt ceiling would be raised today. To me, I'm just assuming that they won't raise that debt ceiling until like Thursday night, midnight. It expires. They have to raise it by then. So I figured that they'll raise it by 10:30 or 11. An hour and a half before the expiration, that type of thing. So, here we go. Who we got? We got Douglas. Good morning, Douglas. Hope you had a nice weekend. And we have Stefan. Hey, Stefan, how you doing? What does your algorithm tell us about the EuroCAD? Let's take a look and see. Thank you for the question. We always like questions. Let's see, EuroCAD. And I think I do have EuroCAD on here, don't we? Let's go see. If we don't, we will add it. I know we've looked at it before. We had somebody. Oh, there it is. Yeah, no, maybe. I see. There's Euro. There's Euro Zloty, Euro Aussie. Let's see. Euro CAD. No, it's NASCAD underneath it. There it is, the Euro CAD. There it goes. And you'll see we haven't filled that in a while, so let's clean that up too at the same time. I mean, we haven't seen. Someone hasn't asked about that since August. So it went into the sell 2 days after we talked about it. You can see it right there. Let's put that sell in there. Then it went into the buy right there. So then we put that back in. We'll clean up the weekly after this. Let's see. Why do we do this? We'll move this up a little bit more like so. And then we'll move this up, the weekly up too, just a little bit. And then, let's see, then we went into the daily sell here. You see that. And then we'll analyze it after we get all the lines in. So I went into the sell there. I'm just going to put the green lines in and then we'll change the color afterwards. Then it did that. And then it did that. Oh. Let's do that again. Did that. And then, let's see. And it went into the sell there. And 2 days later, it was wrong. Let's see, right there. Back into that. And then we'll see how the weekly's lined up with all this there. And then there. And now we can tell very clearly we did the sell there, and we are in the weekly sells too. So, all right. So we'll go like red. Every other is going to be a change of color. Red. Red. And red. That's not right. We'll just switch them. So that goes there, and that goes there. There we go. All right, so there's the dailies. We can widen that out a little bit. And then here's the weekly. Went into a daily sell there. And then we went back into a daily buy, weekly buy there. And then we closed on Friday in a weekly sell. Okay, so let's change these bars so that they can be seen correctly. This is the weekly signal. And there's your buy. There is your sell. And we got another sell here. All right. No. Don't do that. Where's it at? Where's the arrow? There it is. There's the arrow. There we go. So it's in a weekly sell now. And we'll go analyze how it's been acting. See if it makes any sense. So you can see here it's been telling you to be kind of short from this area here, but is that big a number? I can't tell. 150-ish down to the 148-ish, a little lower. And then let's see now. Coming back to here, you couldn't take the long for this. You couldn't take the short either on this one. So you didn't catch this trade. You were in a neutral for that, this trade right there. Because here we go into the sell, so you're not long, even with this being in a weekly buy, and you're not short, unless you're doing it through binaries or options. This way you don't get stopped out. And then you go into the daily buy, but we're in a weekly sell, and then it climbs up into there, so you're not short for this, so you didn't lose the money there either, so you're neutral again. Then it goes into a sell. You can't take that because we're in a weekly buy. See right here, all in a weekly buy there. You can take that buy, you take that buy, and then, can you take that sell? You take that, you can't take the sell, but you can take, now why is that, why is that, yeah, that's a sell there too. So, that's a sell, and you can't take that because we're in a buy. But you can take this buy because we're in a buy, a weekly buy that is. So we're in a weekly buy, so you can take that buy, you can take that buy, and you can take that buy, and you can take that buy, which is not that good a buy. And then you can't take that sell. And it's been kind of choppy sideways, this area right here. This has really been sloppy as all get out. And so in other words, you're not getting a lot of trades out of it, but the trades have been okay. You're up more than you lost. That's the key always there. Depending on how you trade it, if you're using binaries or options versus a spot, if you're a dealer, need inventory, so forth and so on, then you obviously you make out better. When you're leaning up against something using our mathematics. And then, so the algorithm's doing that, and then finally it got into a nice little sell here and you've been in the daily sell there, so you could jump in early because it's below the line, but you have to be careful more with binaries and options unless you're actually a dealer and you have to supply inventory. Then you knew that you wanted to be more of a seller than you wanted to be a buyer. So every time someone wanted to buy it, you could lower your offer because you know that the math was screaming at you saying that the pressure is on the downside. So every time it pops up, you're selling it and you're safe. So that's how that works too. It all comes down to, this caters to about 4 or 5 types of traders. It caters to the producer, or in this case, if you're a bank and you have to deliver currency to a customer, it'll allow you to lower your offer against other offers, and or allow you to bid higher than other bidders, so you can jump ahead of a market. It also, if you're trading options and binaries, you can get away with trying to go on the very short term, trading the dailies and just kind of looking at the nuance of the weekly, but not necessarily the confirmation of the direction of it, solely because you're not going to get stopped out being in binaries or options. And then if you're, that's 2 and 3, and then the fourth one is if you're if you're just an outright trader, day trading, the hard delta itself, the spot, but you don't have a customer you're providing it to, and no one's, so it's just you, then it keeps you safe on the idea that you take only the good trades, not the bad trades, so you don't get, your equity grows, doesn't reduce. So there's like 4, and when I said a fifth, if you traded volatility, you could basically, when things are going down, a lot of times you see volatility increase. You can see when there's pressure on a product, if you're trading the actual volatility itself, not necessarily the direction, it's a fifth way of utilizing the system. Stefan, does that help any? And if you need me to be more precise, I can be. But I just wanted to give you a little flavor of the whole Megillah. And the gorilla. And so that's where we're at. You can see that this is actually showing some interesting life in it. In the fact that it went into the weekly sell last week with that daily sell, and you can see that the pressure does seem to be on. It's made lower lows. Took out the lows all through here. It's taking out this low now. You got to wonder if it's going to start to go after this one. Let's scrunch this up and see how well it traded. We followed it for people at times. You can see like there, went into the daily sell on this, caught that whole ride back in April. But you can see that the summer months have been, look at that. Wow, that's really ugly. All that sideways chop. You can see it's very herky-jerky. Notice when you go back and look at it, you can see that there was more continuity to it, rhythm, consistency, and then whatever's happened, what is this? This is Euro against CAD. Okay. Yeah, so whatever's happening to the Euro-CAD pairs trade, obviously there's a lot of violent little spikes, which our system keeps you out of that. Now you can see here it goes into the weekly buy for 1 week after this, long sell here. Let's get that on there. So it goes into the weekly buy, lasts 1 whole week, and it just disappears again. You can see it goes right back into the sell the following week, right there. And let's make that like that, and that. That, and then let's widen that out so you can see that a little bit clearer. So it's that point right there. So it slides back into the sell. You can see the box will show you. Oh, wait a minute, that's not a sell. I thought that was a sell. Let's see. Let's check the box again. So that one's a minus, but that is not a minus. So it stays in the buy for 2 weeks. Then it gives you that sell right there. Okay. So let's just double check that again. The box there it is. So there's a buy, and so it stays in the buy for all this mess. Then it goes into a sell, throws you back into the buy again. Here, the daily kicks out. Where did the daily go? Is that a buy right there? Let's widen that out. Let's see if that's a close of a buy right there. No, see, that's a minus too, right there. So you get a minus 0.00025, so it's still in the sell, and it gives you the volatility signal the next day. You don't want to be short, that's for sure. But you don't, you know that there's something possibly coming on the upside since we're through the weekly here. But so that's a call or a binary trade. The next day you're rewarded from it if you're trading the binaries or the options. That's fine. You don't want to be long the hard delta because we're not confirmed in the weekly, so it can be very sensitive. You could get stopped out and then turn up on you. Now, if you're a trading desk for a bank or something like that, or a company that needs to buy inventory, or one of those two of the same basically, then you know that you want to be stepping up and purchasing some because you're seeing that volatility is coming and you need it, and the weekly's through the weekly already. It just hasn't closed to confirm it. So that's kind of like the fifth or sixth one of it. You can look at it. So, Stefan, does that make any sense? If it does, let me know, just a yes or a no. And if not, we'll just keep on moving along, looking for another product to look at again, go back. I just want to make sure I satisfied you. I just want to make sure we satisfied you, that's all. All right, from there we'll go back to the normal rhythm until there's another question. And so next we go to the cable, right there. Let me go take a sip of water after that. It was good. Did we lose something there again? Now I don't even hear a sound. Oh, okay, that was me sipping water. All right, good. All right, so here we see the cable doing the same thing as the euro did. Flips into the weekly buy, is rolling over again. At the same time, we're in the, where are we on the cable? Line 13. So we are 2 days in a daily buy in that product. Now, I'm not sure why there's a red dot there today. Let's just double check that. But I'm not sure how that red dot came in there, but we were in a daily buy there on the last couple of days. So we'll put that like that. Remove this one here. Remove. Where are you? Remove. There we are. All right. And so it seems to be showing strength, but our weeklies are all rolling over. It's happening everywhere. It's really weird. Very strange. What it normally represents, over the years I've seen this, it means that we're in too tight a range. The markets are losing momentum, and they don't, and it doesn't take much to flip them. That's usually what that means when you see this up and down so much. It means be careful because you're trading in a thin market. And every trader out there who knows what that means, a thin market means that there is not a lot of participants and anything can change it much faster than in an active market that is plentiful in volume. That takes a lot of energy to change the direction. But when it's a thin market, you may not see it in volume, but you're seeing it in the commitment of the positions themselves. Then it's be careful because you're going to start seeing more volatility signals, like we just got one thrown at us on this chart there. So. All right, so that's the cable, and so we're seeing that same action, and then heading over to, let's see what the Turkish lira is doing. No, it's Canada, that's right. So we look at Canada, and Canada is doing the same thing also. Went into a weekly sell last week. Let's check that. That's line 20. Yep, went into the weekly sell. We have it a 1 in there. So let's put that line in there. Right there. And it's doing the flirt. It's flirting with the weekly buy now. And we're in a daily sell for a couple days here. This is what, 3 days? So that would be line 20 says 3 days in a daily sell. And we're getting a green dot. We're up a little bit for the day. Where the weekly is trying to turn up. And we'll see if that gets rolling along too at the same time on the upside. All right. From there we go to Turkish lira. And that is making all-time highs against the dollar. Let's see, today was a high of 8.894, and Friday's high was 8.877. So yeah, we made another new all-time high. You can see we're in a weekly buy for a couple weeks now. This is going on the third week today, starting. And it doesn't look like it wants to back off much. You can see the daily is trying to roll over a little bit, nothing major. And then we drift over to the euro. Oh, let's see what it looks like on J4X too. Right there. You can see it down a little bit, but the hinkies are all green. You know, the daily buy signal is right there, so it's been pushing up pretty well, just like right there. Same situation. All right, now let's take a look at the other, and that is the euro against the Turkish lira. Right there. And go to J4X and straighten that out. Right there. There we go. Moving down too. But you see all that strength there. You see it holding up pretty well here. You can see same situation where we went into a sell and back into the buy, and we've been in a weekly buy for 2 full weeks, going in a third. It was nice to see the dollar Turkish lira and the euro Turkish lira join in together. The euro Turkish lira is usually ahead of the curve, so it leads the dollar pretty well. And so looking at this, you know, we were like, yeah. I mean, it had been in a weekly sell for 2 weeks longer in the euro Turkish lira versus the dollar Turkish lira. So I was very happy to see them both join in. Obviously, it showed the expediency of it trying to go up. You know, the front runners were front running. If anybody wants to know what front runners are, just ask. I will explain that. If not, we'll just keep on rolling along. But front runners were definitely front running. In other words, people in the government or in the know knew what was going to happen, and they started getting into their position ahead of time, and then they made the announcement that they were, you know, cutting the rates. And then what happens is you get to, you know, move to all-time highs or all-time weaknesses, I guess, either way you want to take, you know, describe it. And that is the action you see there. All right, now let's see, what do we got here? All right, so now from there we go over to the Canadian? No. What did I do? I looked at the Canadian after the British pound. Okay. Normally we go to the Canadian from there. So that's usually how we lead into the metal and the energy sector. So let me just take a quick look again. You can see this is gaining against the dollar right there. Matter of fact, now I'm curious. Let me go take a look at the euro. See if there's any more insight into it by looking at it through the euro. That was pretty choppy. It was pretty choppy looking at that euro CAD. Let's see, where is that? Euro CAD. I know we had it. Where are you hiding? Euro CAD, Euro CAD, Euro CAD. I want to see what. That's right, it was in a sell. So it's gaining against the euro. But I remember that. It's on here somewhere. Where is it? Euro CAD. I found it. How can it be gone? Euro CAD. How am I missing it? There's Euro Swiss, Euro Turkish lira, Euro pound, Euro yen. How am I missing it? I did find it, right? I want to look at it one more time, and how can I be missing? Oh, there it is. Euro CAD. There it is. Okay. So yeah, so like against the dollar, it is gaining strength. Okay. So, and in this case here, it's not trying to leap up through the weekly. Interesting. Versus the dollar, it's trying to do that. I think it is. Yeah. 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 Okay. So we interpret this meaning that gold should be firm or silver should be firm and oil should be firm. So let's go take a look at the energy complex and we'll go from there. Let's see. Let's see. Right there. There we go. All right, So that's natural gas. You can see the strength in that at the highs at the moment. And then let's take a look at crude oil. Crude oil, same way, at its highs. And you know, we've been in a weekly buy for this product now for 3 full weeks, going on a 4th, and we've been in a daily buy for 3 full days, or 2 full days? Line 5, 3 full days now. 3 full days in a buy. Somehow or another that's underneath. I'm not sure why that is, but chart. I guess I think they put data in there that changed it on us. They changed the high and the low, and I think they changed the close or something like that. I don't know, but the end result is we'll just throw that line in there. So you know, it's been in a buy for this move with the weekly move, so it's a winner chicken dinner. And then looking at the metal complex, there's gold. Gold is trying to battle on the way up, and at the same time doing that same strange thing with the weekly. Went into the weekly buy last week, and sure enough, it's aiming down at the moment, and that should clean itself out by Wednesday. And if it turns back up, then it tells you that the firmness is there. And then there's silver. Silver just does not know how to get out of these weekly sell at this point. It's been in a weekly sell now since May 21st. May 21st. We're in almost October by the end of the week. So we're going on 7 months. Is that right? No, 7 months would be April, right? Yeah, so we're going on six months on a sell almost. We're in 5 now. 5 full months in a weekly sell on silver. So now the daily doesn't seem to care. You know, you can see that right there. You know, it went into the daily buy here, and we're pretty much where it went into the daily buy, and it's gone the wrong direction out of it. But then you couldn't take that long anyway, because why, traders? We're in a weekly sell. So the metals complex is having so much issues since the quantitative easing. It's just not doing what it's supposed to do. I saw a really interesting article. I should have saved it. It was an article over the weekend that said something about it's old. Metals are old and, you know, out of pace with modern era cryptos, and blockchain is where it's at, you know, that type of thing. You know, I thought that was pretty interesting. Speaking of which, why don't we take a look at what's that doing? Let's see what they're doing this morning. There, you can see it's trying to roll over a little bit on the Bitcoin there. Let's see, that is the mini Bitcoin. Let's see if we can get a weekly somewhere. There is the September Bitcoin. And you can see we went into, I think we went into the weekly sell on the weekly last week. And I think that's how that played out. There's the 18th. There, yeah, so it's, let's see where the box is at. Where's your box at? Show me your box. There. It was minus, so it went into the weekly sell. And we're having some real, the volume in these things are very low. It's a real issue with it. It takes a lot of work. And now I just added the mini contract, hoping, the micro contract, hoping that gets some legitimate volume. And you can see that looks a lot better. You know, it's got more volume to it. But this is really not really joining in that well with the futures contracts. You know, maybe they trade 9-10,000 a day, something like that. Matter of fact, Robin was we were looking at oats. You know, we follow oats, and oats has an open interest of something like 4,000. That's it, just 4,000. Very thin. All right, from there we shoot back to the South African rand. We go back to the currencies. You know, because we see that the metals are kind of flat to up. We see oil's up, so we're assuming that the rand will be moving down. We'll see how that goes. It would be nice to see gold much stronger, but we're not seeing it, so it could be more sideways than anything. Now it's even worse. It's moving up. So it's not even going down. It's moving up, and you can see the weekly is threatening to get going this week for sure. You know, went into the daily buy here, went into the daily sell on Thursday of last week. Then Friday went back into the buy. And you can see here that the weekly is trying to turn up already, and you can see the strength in there. Or it's actually weakness because this is going up against the dollar, so the higher it gets becomes less valuable. It takes more of them to buy $1. Then we go to ruble. You see ruble went into a daily sell same day, and 2 volatility signals, and we use the super on this, the 5. So we need I think we're in a weekly sell. Is that what that is? Ruble is line. Where's that? Yeah. So we're 7 weeks in a weekly sell. So we've been in the sell since here, and you know, you can see the histogram has been minus all the way through all that. That's the 3. The little dashed blue is the super, the 5, just to see how it's doing. You can see a little hesitation there, but you know, it's still breaking down. And so there's the ruble, showing a little life in it, gaining some value. And then the yen. I understand they lost their prime minister. Remember, I was confused why it was going the opposite direction of the dollar. That the prime minister had to resign over the last 48 hours. So the math was picking it up a couple days ago, what was going on. And the front runners in government, as usual. And it was in a weekly buy last week. They knew that this thing was going to try to find its way back up. So these little daily sells were not worth the paper it was written on. And then when it went into the daily buy there, you know, it was boom, you know. So something about him not doing a good job against COVID or something like that. Then, let's see, where do we go from there? Oh, and last but not least, we go to the Mexican peso, right there. And the peso closed in a weekly sell. It's getting too choppy. Look at that. We get into buys, we go to sells, we go to sells, we go back to buys. Now we're moved back into a sell here. Let's put that in there. This is, and I'm amazed that it makes any money at all, but it does, with all those herk and jerks, you know, of direction. And you can see here the daily buy was right there. So there's a winner, winner, chicken dinner. Oop, wrong spot. Then it goes into the sell right here. And we're losing on that. Oh no, it's the wrong spot. Let's get rid of that. Did it make any money? I don't think it made any money at all. No. So next day it spiked up and then fell back down again. Gave you a chance to, if you got nervous with it, but you had probably been saying, yeah. So then it made some money this morning. It got, let's see, where it went short at 05.66, and it got as low as 12.74. Let's do that again. 05.66, and the low is 01.17. I'm sorry, 01.17 from 05. So now it's higher and it's giving us a volatility signal. The weekly's trying to lift. We'll see. But right now it's in a short, and it's not very pretty. Not very pretty. We'll see. It's not that bad, it's just not that good. Alright, so that's the rest of the currencies. Unless someone wants to see something, that's where we ended on the currency side of this, and we slip back over to the commodities and the metals complex and see what's going on there. So we'll go back to gold. See, where's that button? There it is, right there. And so there is gold, and you can see it's been just kind of bouncing around in a buy for a couple days, and now it's playing with the weekly sell. So obviously you might want to think about taking some profits and waiting to see what the next turn is going to be. And unless you're in binaries or options, then you don't have to worry about it as much. And then let's take a look at silver. Silver's, like I said, is not doing a heck of a lot, and we can't get into a weekly, so no fun there, no fish, no more. And then we go to copper, the Chinese gold of the day, and you can see that it's been in the daily buy from here and basically gone nowhere, just up a little bit. And it's in a weekly buy now, and it went higher, but nothing major so far. At least it's not below the zero line on the weekly, so that's good. And then last but not least, let's take a look at platinum. One of the only metals that have gone into a weekly buy, which is curious in its own right. playing with the weekly sell. Good. Yeah, it doesn't seem to stop. It's getting weirder and weirder and weirder. Talk about markets not being able to get a grip on themselves. All right. Now we go over to the energy sector again. Take a more in-depth look at that. There's the crude oil trading through. That must be like a 6-month high. Let's go over to JForks. Take a look at crude oil. I bet that's like a 6-month high or 7-month high or 1-year high or something like that. Probably a 1-year high. Is it? Maybe not. Maybe they did run up there before. Yeah, I think they did when we went into the weekly buy at like 25 or 30 and it climbed all the way up. Yeah. So where's that at? That is, yeah. So we caught this whole ride here. We went into a long buy for that whole move up from the 30s or something like that. I think that's how it played. Let's see if we can spot some of that on here. So there is September of last year. Let's see. Now we don't have the history at this point on that futures contract. But I do remember catching that one from the 32s up to the 60s. That was pretty cool. You can see here, it's just holding up, doing well. The sells have been very weak. Now that's curious. Why is that showing a buy there and it's not a buy? I guess some of the bad data has gone into this. I don't know, we'll see what's going on there. Back in a sell and back in a buy. Where's the weekly? It gets long there. Remember, this contract expires every month, so looking back in historically on this is very tough since it expires every month. So you get 3 or 4 weeks of charts and then boom, gone. All right. Then nat gas is a little bit more consistent right there, and you can see we're heading for highs. Doing a weekly buy since there. Luckily, that likes to look out further. So we've been looking at the October probably for a couple of months now, 3 months or something like that. And then I guess the next one will be, we'll jump into, since it's the winter months, we'll start to look at November and December much more closer. Not much more to be said. I heard there was a squeeze in England, Europe, I don't know, somewhere. And I wonder how the elections played out. I know that the Germans had their elections. Obviously, if we don't see it on the news here, it means that something bad happened to the liberals. That's usually the way it works in the States. If the left loses anywhere in the world, they don't talk about it. They just, oh, nothing to look at here. Yeah. I'm curious, I want to see. I know last night it was Thai, I heard. Let's see what's in the headlines. Top Apple Tesla suppliers suspend production amid China power crunch. No. Bond blue bloodbath. They're selling bonds. Blackstone to sell Cosmopolitan Casino for $5.5 billion. I don't see any news on the German elections now. They were tied last night. I'm not even seeing a headline. Let's see, nothing. Nah. I don't see any news on the German. If anybody knows what it was or how it played out, give a yell. Just throw it up on the chat line. But I heard it was literally a tie. I don't know how that works in that situation, but they have to form a government. That parliamentary stuff, and I don't know what's going on there, but let's see. I still see no headline. I'm scrolling through all the headlines. There's nothing there. How about that? Like I said, in America, if anything, the chances are the conservatives won. That's probably what it means. All right. What's next? From the energies and so forth, we drift over to the stock indices. That's what it is. So we showed you a little earlier today how crazy things have been, where they'd gone minus to plus and so forth. So let's put that, let's fix the crude oil. Let's go take a look at the Tech 100, the NASDAQ 100, or let's go S&P 500, then we'll go to Tech 100. Let's see, where is it at? Right There's the S&P. You see it's minus here, but you still got your green hinkies going on, and the line's still going. And then let's take a look at it here, right there. And you can see there, you know, our weekly's trying to roll over. Our daily is lower, of course. But just like on J4X, we got the hinkies green and we got the green dots here. And our daily's not rolling over. So this may not be too loud for a couple days. We'll see. Remember, we are at the end of the month. So today is the 27th. Window dressing should start between this evening going into Tuesday. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday is usually window dressing. And then Friday is the first day of the month. There might be some dollar cost averaging. Same situation with Thursday of this week. We could see some dollar cost averaging. I think the employment number comes out on Friday. That is going to be a bigger number than usual, I think. In other words, they're going to be looking at that a little bit closer because the extra money given to unemployed people has been discontinued. So that's the action of that. Okay. So now, let's see where we at. Oh yeah, so that is the S&P 500. Let's take a look at the Tech 100. You see that there, feeling much more pressure. The daily is being threatened, and we've been in a weekly buy in this product for so long. What is that? 17 weeks, 16 weeks, something like that. Let's see, it's over on the fact check spreadsheet. Oop, load. Accidentally hit the wrong button there. Close. And then, whoop. There it is. So we've been 16 weeks right there. 16 weeks in a weekly buy. So, whoop. Let's go over to J4X and put that in. There it is right there, Tech 100. And you see the down action that's going on. See how it loads up, we'll see. Let's see. Oh, good, ETFs. That's right, I need to go look at the ETFs for Robin too at the same time. So I'm glad you mentioned that. Very good. We have one client that's involved in ETFs, and we like to give them the best fighting chance of seeing what the pre-look looks like before the market's actually open. So let me just take a look. So there's that. So the Russell is up, but the weekly's also flirting with its weekly sell. It just seems to be like a stemic at this point. Nothing seems to be stopping that crazy action. So let me save that. And then we're going to find yours, the ETF. Matter of fact, what I'll do is let's change the screen so you can see that. So you can see what we're doing there. And that is the Russell. So let's go put the Russell in there. And you'll see the Russell in a few seconds. So there's the Russell. You can see it's holding up in the daily buy. It's up a little bit, at least the last trade was, and it's flirting with the weekly sell. And then, let's see, you wanted to see, what did you want to see? You wanted to see EWZ. So we saved it. Where's EWZ? It's there somewhere. I know. I thought there's no way I got rid of that. How did I get rid of EWZ? Oh, I see. We exchanged DAX with it. That's what it was. So let's slide that in there. You know what? Let me just create a new one. Copy. Because you do ask for that one. So why don't I keep it in there? I think you must have asked for DAX. Or someone must have asked for DAX. And I, put it in there. So let's do EWZ. So when you ask, it's there. Instrument. EWZ. And we won't have to fill them in all the time. EWZ again. There we are. Okay, so there's EWZ. And you can see it's holding up in the daily buy, but it's been in that weekly sell for a while. That weekly sell has been all the way to there. So it's been in the sell since here. You can run that up a whole continuity like that. There we go. You just double check that. Yep, that was a minus still right there. So it's been in the weekly sell since back in the 38-ish, 39-ish area, 40-ish area, 40-ish area, 40 to 42 area. It went into the weekly sell, and it went into a daily buy there. Was it that one? Maybe it was that one. Yeah, it was pretty much, but it's in a weekly sell, so you don't really take that too serious. So there's your EWZ. Matter of fact, look at that. The moment we put it in, it popped up on the screen too. So that's pretty cool. You can get rid of that. There we are. This has been in a sell for a while, since July. All right, now I need to go save tags. That's not updated yet. Darn, I wish it would be updated. That's why we drag our feet on this. All right, let's save that. There's tags. And then I need to save, what's that last one we need to do? This could be interesting. DBA, that's right. DBA is giving us the update, so that's all right there. And the weekly is still rolling over since the sell up in this area here, so that's good. So I'll save that. DBA, and that will go to Robin. DBA. There we are. All right. So there's the action. We can take a look at EWZ if you want to see if it. What has me curious is the DAX. Obviously, the DAX is down, but then so are the other stock indices. But look at that. The daily is trying to hold up, but it's still in that weekly sell there. I am a little surprised that we're not seeing the news. I heard money was being moved, like, out of Germany over the weekend. I kept on hearing stuff like that, like money's being moved to Switzerland because they're concerned that who's going to win or who's not going to win. Or, it's like, it's constantly going on like that. Bad governments when you have to worry about where your money is sitting over the weekend. It's like, that's not good. That's a bad thing, So that is that. Oh, and did you hear it all, Douglas? What happened to the German elections? Is it trapped in neutral at the moment? I imagine that might be what's going on. That would make sense to me, that they haven't been able to get their game together because it's a tie. It's a tie. So everybody start over again. Start your engines. All right. Where do we go from here? We were looking at stock indices, weren't we? Yeah, so did we finish off, what did we finish off? Did we finish off, we were looking at the Tech 100. And I guess the next thing to look at would be the Dow Jones Industrial Average, right? There we go. So let's drift over to the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Here we are. Oh, I got to switch sides. Let's go to that screen. So there was the Tech 100 falling down, playing with its weekly. Let's put that in there like that. I could have sworn I had a circle in there before. Don't understand that, but okay. Let's do a save again. There we are. That'll save it there. So now, let's see. Now what we do is we drift over to the Dow Jones Industrial Average, which is right there, which is doing the opposite. It's doing that weekly bounce up thing right there. Like I said, it's a very thin, choppy market because things are being pulled in all kinds of directions. So we've been in daily buy for a few days, and they had a nice spike. Now we're 200 points lower than where it was from that spike, and I think it's still plus for the day. So, it's not bad, not good. It's just cruising along. Let's see, where are we now? Here we go. Let's the Dow Jones Industrial Average up 23 points. That's what that is. So it's up just a little bit. It's green for the day. You can see that. All right. Anybody want to see anything else? Let's see. We have about three minutes or so to go, and so we have room to look and dissect anything possible at the moment. Give you us a second or two to come up with something. Let's see, like that. All right, there we go. All right, I'm going to look at the Russell. I did see, let's see what the Russell looks like. That's the fourth index that we follow here in the States. And let's see what they're doing with that. That's the most speculative of speculative stock indices here we have at this point. So there's the Russell 2000. You can see it's holding up like the Dow. It's got a plus going on, and it's still in the weekly buy, whereas the ETF is trying to pierce its sell. So that's something to be thought about when someone's following these things here. And we've been in a daily buy for a couple days, and you know, it's not doing anything particular. What's that? Is that a minus? That was a minus. So that's where the daily buy went in. That was a, you know, it caught that whole crazy slide, and so it was in a weekly sell and a daily sell there. You see the pressure on it. Indeed, indeed. Indeed, indeed. I guess that's about it there. So there's the stock indices. We've done that. We've done the metals. We've done the currencies. And I guess we have to come up with a title, right? We got to come up. Let's see. That's how we started this off. Weekly trends are thin. That has been basically the theme starting the week off. So that's for sure. That won't really work too well as a title. So we have to come up with something that kind of says that at the same time. British pound, and we could say British pound and euro thin trading. I think that's a good way of looking at it. Because definitely that is what it's trying to tell us, is that there's thin trading in those areas. And so that's the best way to describe it as far as I can tell, you know. What else is there? Oh, Turkish lira all-time high. We can mention that. That's for sure. So I think what we'll do is we'll label it as Turkish lira, euro, and GB pig. I think they're the best to look at, you know, describe it as for people trying to tune in. Because if they tune in and hear what I have to say about it, at least they'll have a better idea of what the issues are all about. And that's an important thing. You know, it is. So let's see. Title is, and I'm just talking out loud here. This way, if anybody wants to see anything before I jump off, I can do that. And if not, I'll start to sing. So happy trails to you until we meet again, which will be, Tuesday. Happy trails to you, to all our trading friends. All right, everybody, have a good and solid trading day. This is Doc from North America saying arrivederci.